Good Saturday morning to you, everybody. Welcome to your next chapter of production of The Heights at Avery Heights, a one-of-a-kind senior living community centrally located near the most entertaining and historical spots ever in the state of Connecticut. It is never too late to grow and enjoy new realms of the mind and heart. Your next chapter delves deep into topics that will improve the way that we think about aging, senior living, and the retirement years. It's actually a time to celebrate our seniors, give them wholehearted encouragement to bravely step up to new experiences with optimism, inner peace, and the courage to never give up on growing. We're going to discuss exciting opportunities, important resource for older adults, financial well-being, senior living communities, and emotional health. Along with Siobhan Cefarelli, I'm Gary Byron. Good morning, Siobhan. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
We can do this with
Top of the
accents.
day to you. Would you like tea and crumpets this early?
I would.
Yes, me
I
too.
would.
How you been?
Very good.
Nice to see you. How was your
Good to
week?
see you. My week was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Really?
Yeah. We're excited at the Heights at Avery Heights.
As you should be.
Very busy. We got a lot going on. A lot of great residents coming in.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
Yep, we just did a veterans reception a couple weeks ago. It was phenomenal for our new recipient. We honored for our veterans wall. Bi-monthly, we'll be doing that, putting a new person up on our wall, and it was wonderful.
I've seen the wall. Looks
His
beautiful.
associates came from his law firm.
Wow.
And yeah, they were all dressed up in their suits, and it was, he just was, and everyone came over, all the veterans came over and shook his hand, and it was wonderful. And of course, his wife cried, and it was nice. It was very nice.
You know, here we are. Well, this is kind of a weird thing because it's not typical. Here we are in the middle of winter, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like winter. It doesn't even look like winter. Nonetheless, what's different about winter at Avery Heights as opposed to, because there's like summer activities. People can be outdoors. They can be, coming and going. Usually winter time, it's associated with, and I don't care how old you are, people hibernate a lot in the winter. They don't go out and see much, until the spring or not even early spring. What festivities or what ongoings do you have in the winter
Yeah,
months?
I think what's different and what's nice about and really where a senior living community shines is really in the colder months. Because like we were talking about on a previous show, you could just walk out your door of your apartment and have activity as opposed to having to get in the car, especially a couple weeks ago, it was freezing out, right? Yeah. It was cold. Who wants to go out on that? Well, you don't have to. We actually had a concert that weekend that folks went to, I think at Weaver High School. And so the van pulls up to the door, picked people up and took them to the concert. Now think about it. If you were home by yourself as an older adult, no way you're going to want to start the car, warm it up.
You wouldn't even go.
You don't have to worry about that. And the van is handicap accessible. So if you're in a wheelchair or walker, it can, it has like an elevator where it can just bring you right onto the van. So I think that, activity-wise, we have a lot of music coming in. We have, exercise-wise, we have a full wellness center. We have a pool. We use the Wii machine, to get people to exercise as well. So I think that that's where a senior living community shines, is in these colder months. Because even medical transportation, getting out to the doctor. I mean, who wants, again, warm up the car, blah, 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 blah. They just get on the van, go to their doctor's appointment, come back, have some lunch, and enjoy themselves. So I think it helps with the socialization a lot and really preventing that isolation. Because in the winter, when you're at home, even myself, I mean, as a, almost older adult, it's like I don't even want to. My son was like hibernated with my grandson, kind of hunkered down and hibernated the weekend when it was cold. He says, we're not going anywhere. And he's in his 30s. And I'm like, you're not going anywhere. I mean, you're young and spry. What do you mean? Yeah, but they didn't even want to go out. So imagine if you're older and you can feel that cold,
And to that point, there are people of all ages who get seasonal depression.
Yes. Yeah.
Although this year, like I said, this has been a really unique winter thus far.
It's still cloudy, though. The cloudiness.
Yeah, I know. We don't get
that brings us down. I mean, you look outside and it's just. Bleh.
But when a senior has seasonal depression, particularly a senior who is still residing maybe at home alone, that's different because you get a husband and wife or a family of 3 or 4 or whatever, and you have seasonal. There's other people to kind of lift your spirits. Oh, come on, let's put them. movie in, or we were talking last week about music therapy and and how it triggers happy moments. Some for the most part, you hope. But when a senior lives, alone at home, and it gets darker early, or it's colder, it's inclement weather, and it's just a person home with their thoughts. It can be not only disturbing but downright sad.
Yeah. It is. And the decline, I mean, it's so neat to see people come to the community and just come to life. And especially when they make friends, like a best buddy. There's this couple of ladies at our community. I absolutely love them. They even started to dress alike. It's hysterical. But it's so sweet. I mean, they do everything together. They go get the mail together. They go to meals together. They work out at the gym together. But they're always out and about, buzzing around. And they go to the hairdresser together. But it's nice because they're buddies, they're friends, and it's really neat. And it's funny. They both use one of them uses a walker or a wheelchair. But it's neat, like when they kind of choose almost like an accessory which one they're going to use. It's kind of wild. So, but it's really neat to have them in the community, and it's encouraging. I love seeing those types of friendships blossom.
Companionship. Do you think it adds to the longevity of life as opposed to a person who is just left in solitude, alone with their thoughts and
it definitely
loneliness?
Does. And I think that's across the board, like you were saying before. I mean, we see it, like, for example, in recovery world. Like, they're always talking about don't isolate. Because when we're left to ourselves, we kind of get into trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so for older adults, they get into trouble in a different way. That's some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. So you think about what happened during COVID. I mean, we saw it. We saw during COVID, and back then I was in hospice. And so really that first part, the first beginning of COVID, obviously we saw an uptick in cases because people were unfortunately passing away. Right. But then that year or two after, it was even worse that we had people with dementia that were coming from home that were incredibly declined. And people were like, I can't believe how fast they declined. Also, like chronic diseases, COPD, CHF, cancer even. Like, you see these diseases where people didn't even know they had cancer. I had this one, oh my gosh, it was horrible, this one couple, and she fell on the ice, and he took her to the doctor, found out she had cancer, and she passed away within a month. And he had to call, and he loved his wife. And I know that sounds crazy, but he loved her. And he said, you know what, Spawn, the worst part of it, I just don't have enough time to process. It's not like we knew and she had it for a while, and she didn't know because she wasn't going to the doctor, because I think older adults had that fear of going to the doctor. They were doing the telehealth, which we all did the best we could during that time. I'm not criticizing anything that was done, but we see what isolation does and lack of socialization does to people.
Why do you think it's important that maybe a person even has a roommate, let's say, to help pass the time when it's not 12 noon in the day room, or lunch out, lunchtime, but even somebody to read with, or even if you're reading separate books, but you've got hey, you know what? Let me grab. You want something to drink? I'm going to the refrigerator, to the kitchen, or just someone to talk to.
There's so many advantages, and that's why Bill, our director, and I, we came up with kind of a cool program. It's called the 200s at the Heights. This is a program where we have, and it's limited, so we only have 6 companion suites that we have that are available, and we're really excited about it. We've already started to take applications on it, and the reason why we developed this program, for many different reasons, and one of them is exactly like you said, so that the people can have companionship, so they can have a roommate. First of all, a really silly one, it's fun, right? I mean, you remember back in college, and I have a roommate.
I went home at college. I didn't live on campus.
But I had roommates, and actually, even as I was older, unfortunately, got divorced, became a single mom. I had another friend of mine, single mom. She came to live with me, and we were laughing about just how ridiculous we were. I mean, she's from a different culture, and I remember coming home one day, and she has my son, who was 6, cooking pancakes for her son, who was 3, and it was a snow day, so we were babysitting 2 other kids, and she's upstairs sleeping. And I came in the house, a different culture, it's a different culture. So when kids are young, they have more independence. I came home, my son is on a stool in front of the gas stove. The kids were everything was fine. Let me just say this. Everything was fine. They were eating their pancakes. Pancakes were delicious. He wasn't burning them. He's an awesome cook now. So she sparked something. But we were just laughing about my face. And when I went into her room, I'm like, dude, what is going on downstairs, But again, I mean, we have those memories. And now she's about to get her master's degree. She just got her degree in social work, and to just see her flourish, to who she is. So having a roommate, you have memories, you have fun, and even when silly things happen, and you support each other.
Yeah, you do.
Her and I have supported each other. And in a senior living community, it helps. It's like instant socialization. It's instant lack of isolation. And especially during this world, unfortunately, where there's COVID out there. Any senior living community, you could probably go across Connecticut and ask them and say, hey, have you had COVID in the building this winter? And we all have, right? So we got to go down to that what we call, semi-shutdown now. It's not crazy like it used to be, but you do have to do some sense of a shutdown. And now you have a roommate. Now you have someone you can be shut down with, you can kind of communicate with and have fun with, and complain about the fact that you're shut down. I mean, it's good. It's good
I hope
stuff.
you don't mind this next question, but I have to ask because since we're talking about roommates.
Oh my goodness.
Does it defray the cost? Is it cost effective?
It's very cost effective. Okay. And I didn't put that at the top of the list because I think there are other benefits beyond that, but absolutely, definitely. Assisted living, hey, it's expensive. I mean, it's normally private pay. I mean, there's our veterans benefits, and we're going to be talking about in a nice series about ways to pay for it. But at the end of the day, that we've talked about this, that middle class person like me, like you, it's going to be tough, unless you have lots of money or a little bit of money. If you're here in the middle, you have to figure out a way to pay for this.
And that's where most people are.
So this is a great program. And this includes the rent, includes meals, it includes housekeeping, and it includes care, which is nice. So like showers, AM care, PM care. It's going to include, like I said, 3 meals a day, also med management. So different basics that when you first kind of come into the assisted living world, you need is part of this package. And that's what really makes it very cost effective, because you don't have the rent and the care. It includes that. And so it makes it really nice.
Do you find that roommates look out for each other, that they actually care for one another?
Yeah. And there's a certain, especially, females, we tend to have the mothering in us. And it's one of those things, and it's neat. And there's always that one that becomes the mother and one that, becomes the person that's taken care of. We make healthier choices when we have our roommates.
There's safety involved.
It's the safety.
Yeah.
Maybe not having your kid cook at 6 years old pancakes, but it turned out to be a great thing. My son is an awesome cook. He cooks at Christmas. He cooks at Thanksgiving. So, we learn different things. Like for me, I learned a different culture. Maybe I shouldn't be babying my son so much.
All right, so let me just ask you then. Tips. What would you, if somebody were to ask you, my goodness, give me some recommendations for a roommate. You can't just throw, any random person in with somebody and expect, miracle. Look, generally speaking, you'll probably. I don't want to harp on the negative. I don't want to harp on mixing two people who just have nothing in common and don't get along.
Right.
But you don't we have to address it because you want to make sure that doesn't occur.
Exactly. And so there'll be fail-safes for that. We do have our social worker, and she's always mediating anyway, even with our traditional residents. So that'll be in place. And we're going to pair people properly. We do it already in many different areas of our community in the dining room. So we're going to make sure that, hey, we're going to look at who the profile of that person and say, hey, they would be good roommates together.
Oh, good to hear. That's what I wanted to hear.
And there are tips like and we'll have like an orientation that'll be special for the roommates. It's not going to be our traditional. So there are different things you can do. I think that it's important for that older adult. You have to be flexible. It's one of those things where especially if you're used to living alone, now you're living with another person. So you have to know exactly like you said, you have to know there's going to be, some challenges. And so you have to be willing to roll with it and to grow. I think that's really important. And then you have to set, early on, we'll learn about their boundaries. We'll learn about, we'll have rules and regulations so that helps a lot when you're not, even being married, you don't want to infringe on that person's boundaries. And so that's going to be important too. So there's going to be orientation wise, there's going to be obviously a different flavor than what we normally do for our normal residents that come in.
I would imagine that the introduction can be exciting, but people speculate.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this person seems nice. Does it mean I want to room with them.
Yes.
But I'll give it a shot. And like, is there a ramp up time where you're still kind of feeling each other out, so to speak? And
well, we're going to have these people meet ahead of time. Okay. So we have our private dining room. So we'll have them have lunch or breakfast or dinner and spend some time together and chat and really get to know each other before they're kind of in the roommate situation. You know, a lot of people are really excited about it. And the way I want to present it, again, that number 5 is going to be it's affordable. Because I don't want people to make the decision just because it's affordable. Because then it's got to be, you have to kind of be welcoming to the other benefits of it. The socialization, the fun, the support, living healthier, just having a friend. And especially with dementia and Alzheimer's, that isolation is just detrimental. And so if you have a roommate and someone that you can go through that journey with, that's really nice.
Sean, you're giving me all the answers that I was looking for. You really are. All right, here's a scenario, though.
Do we have time for that? No, I'm just kidding.
I got to do a quick billboard in about 2 minutes, but gives you enough time to answer this. What if somebody doesn't get along?
Yes.
In other words, they've given it the good old yeoman's try of a few weeks, a month, maybe even, and it just seems like they're oil and water.
Yeah.
You know?
So in that same area of the 200s, we do have 1-bedrooms as well. Okay. And so we'll have that option to be able to transfer to 1-bedroom or transfer to a new roommate. I mean, colleges do it. People do it. Other senior living communities, actually in the Mass area in Massachusetts, they do it. So obviously there's going to be people that might not get along. But I think if we do this right, I've seen it be very successful.
Folks, you are listening to Your Next Chapter, a production of The Heights at Avery Heights, along with senior living specialist Siobhan Stefarelli. I'm Gary Byron. All right, so you must have a plethora of success stories and fun stories where you must maybe even take some pride in knowing that, hey, if it wasn't for The Heights or even me specifically, these two would not forget about even be friends. They wouldn't even know each other.
Yes.
But truly, this is friendships, relationships. This can occur.
Yes, yeah.
Here.
So we had these 2 ladies actually came in at separate times. One lived alone. She wanted to be left alone. And she was,
I know her.
Yes. She had a lot of layers to her. And I always say it that way. I think it's from The Blind Side. Tim McGraw said it, peel back the onion.
Yeah,
you got to peel back the onion. And that's so I really take that with me. So I see that. So I see that whole, and I just go, you know what? There's something underneath there. There's a soft, gushy side underneath there. And so I got to know her. And luckily her apartment was right near my office. So I really got to know her very well. We got to be friends. And then another lady moved down the hall. Same thing. It turned out she was actually in the military. So she was no joke. She was like, she was a tough lady. And I remember the first time, because I would take walks with her, and I remember the first time she says, I'm sorry, I'm a little rough sometimes. She goes, I was in the military. And she started talking about that's how she's used to like presenting herself so people would respect her, especially a woman in the military. It's very challenging. Mm-hmm. So these two, I like Days of Our Lives. These two got together, and I was like, "Oh, you like Days of Our Lives? She likes Days. Hey, why don't you come on down? Let's watch this together." So the 3 of us are there in their recliners. They're sitting there, they're watching it. I'm in my chair. We're all watching Days of Our Lives. Well, then little by little, the other lady, I'd be busy, obviously working. Can't be watching Days of Our Lives.
They were like Bo and Patch.
Yes, they came together. Yeah, right. They came together and they started being friends, and then they started doing all sorts of stuff together. They go to music together. They go to lunch together. And here were these 2 ladies who, mind you, were still not very nice to many of the other people in the community, but they were nice to me. They loved me, and they were nice to each other. And it was really neat to see, though, them build a friendship. And in a million years, I never would have thought they would come out of their apartments. It was one of those things where you're like, at least they're safe. You have those, you're like, well, at least they're safe. But they became friends. And, if you look at Facebook, they're in like most of the pictures at the activities having fun. And so it was nice for them. And that's when we always talk about your next chapter. And it was just neat to see them come to life like that.
I like to hear that. As long as you're nice to Victor Kariakis.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that matters. Right?
And Hope and Bo. I think those people are still on there. Actually, Victor, I think, passed away. Yeah, he passed away. Yeah. Right. But it's amazing how they these characters stay on forever, like Young and the Restless, too. It's like crazy. With Victor, I can't believe he's still on there. The other Victor. Victor over there, yeah.
I'm surprised he even still shows soap operas.
But you can, I mean, sometimes, if you're at the doctor, sometimes I'm at wherever I am, and it's happened, Days of Our Lives is on, you can jump right back in and figure out, you can. 'Cause it's like, all right.
Not much has happened over the last year.
My sister still watches it. She watches it. Yeah, we used to watch it when I was younger. And I remember at Central, they used to have, this is back in the day, they used to have rooms for each network. So ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Wow.
And the NBC room was packed. Now, you see, you had that too. Don't like I'm that old.
What?
Nowadays you have your iPhone and you can, watch things whatever you want. But back then, it was exciting. 1:00, we were in that NBC room watching Days of Our Lives. I know.
I've got a mechanic. Listen to this. I have a mechanic who takes, and there's only 2 guys there. It's just 2 men. And they got a heck of a business.
Oh, yeah.
But they take their lunch together every day at the same time.
And watch Days of Our Lives?
I don't know if it's Days of Our Lives, but it's
or Young and the Restless.
Whatever it is. But my point is that it's a soap opera.
Yeah.
And they're hooked.
Yeah.
These are 2 grown men, mechanics, manly men, and they got to watch their soap. And I'm not kidding. Yes,
that's funny.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's fun though. So you go, see, it's fun. Living life with a friend is fun.
Well, okay, so let's go there in our remaining few minutes then. Are there expectations and responsibilities that each must endure or take on, or like I'm talking about household apartment chores and
It depends. I think it's going to be like with Avery Heights or the Heights. The way we are is every circumstance is individual. So there's no cookie cutter. So we're going to take those 2 people and for who they are and see what they want to do. I think that, there's going to be the normal, type of responsibilities. I mean, dishes have to be washed, different things like that. But a lot of these people will be on assisted living. So a lot of that stuff the aide will do too. We'll tidy up, which is nice. So that issue, probably won't be a big thing, because if there are a bunch of dishes or refrigerator be cleaned out, our aides will come in and take care of a lot of that.
And the beauty is that if you still want your
you have your own. You have your whole
you have
side.
your own bedroom.
You have your own bedroom. You have your own closet space, and you have your own bathroom. So you don't have to share any of that. There's just the common area where there's the living room and the kitchen area. So you have your own stuff, which is nice, because if they didn't have their own bathroom, that's kind of rough. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they're literally sides. So the middle is the common area, and then the sides are their piece of the world.
How popular are these units? Let's here's a scenario. Somebody comes in, and they can either live alone, they can have a roommate. What do people gravitate more towards?
We just kicked this off,
okay.
But I'm seeing that it's funny that a lot of people are loving the roommate solution, especially families, because they want their loved one to have a friend. And so families are, I keep on saying, well, they can also have, a 1-bedroom by themselves. But tell me more about that roommate thing. So I just had a wonderful woman that's actually going to be hopefully bringing her father from Florida. And she loves the idea because he's going to be coming from Florida. So who's he going to know? He lived in this area back in the day, like in the Newington area, but now he doesn't. And so now he's going to have like an instant friend, which is nice.
That is nice. Oh, wow. It's really, I'm excited for you. What you said, you just launched this.
We just launched it. We have only six apartments that we're doing.
How long ago?
Just launched it 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So, and how are, why 6? Do you anticipate more?
Well, it's the 200s because it's in the 200s area. So it's in a certain area. We wanted to have it kind of in a certain part of the building that we wanted to try this out.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if it works, we'll kind of have, it could be any apartment.
That's where I was going to go next. I have a feeling not only will this work, I think it'll be in demand. I actually think it'll be more popular than 6 units.
Yeah. But we wanted to try it out kind of in a, like a pilot area and then go from there. And I love the name, the 200s, right? Doesn't it sound cool? It sounds like a soap opera, like Melrose Place, the 200s.
You missed your calling. You could have been in Hollywood as a developper, creative consultant.
We'll have all sorts of drama over there, too, with the Billy. Was it Billy? I can't think of their names.Jan. I can't remember their names in Melrose Place. Melrose
I never watched that one.
You never watched that one? No. Who was in that? The girl who's married to the rock star is in that. I can't think of her name.
That's every show.
No, the blonde hair. I can't think of her name. What's her name?
I don't know Mel. Was it Mel?
Heather Locklear.
Oh, Heather Locklear.
Yeah, she's married to a rock somebody.
Tommy Lee. No. Oh, Richie. Well, that was Richie.
Is that
Sambor.
Aerosmith? Is that
No, Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Well, Richie Sambor, the lead guitarist.
Yes.
But they're no longer.
Oh, they're not. Did he die? He died?
No,
Oh.
he's not. No,
You said the late guitarist.
Oh, did I say the late guitarist?
did.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. He's not with the band anymore, though.
Oh, okay.
I hope maybe one day he'll rejoin.
Yeah. But they're not together? I didn't know that.
No, they haven't been together in a long time.
Oh, wow.
But
And Valerie Bertinelli, she's with Aerosmith. Is that
no,
Aerosmith?
she's with Eddie Van Halen.
Well,
but
who's
he
with
died.
Aerosmith? He died too.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
he's the late Eddie Van Halen.
All right. Somebody's with someone in Aerosmith. And
Pamela
and
and
no,
yes.
No.
And
she
was with Tommy Lee.
And
from Motley
she's
Crue.
divorced too, right?
Oh, from Kid Rock.
And
she
that's
married
husband
Kid
number
Rock.
5 or 6. I think she's been married 6 times. Yeah.
Who wanted to know who's married to Aerosmith?
I don't know. I thought he was in there somewhere. Or is that a person? That's a band. That's not a person.
Well, no, Steven Tyler.
Okay, yes. Steven Tyler. Yes.
But I think he's single.
Is he single?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I
Yeah.
haven't kept track.
I'm not a rock
But
and roll
Heather
person.
Locklear wasn't she on T.J. Hooker?
Oh my gosh, that's like that. I think that's before Melrose Place.
Oh, this was with William Shatner. in the 80s.
Yes, yeah.
But wasn't she on that show?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
That's before my time. I was just a wee one. Just a wee one. We go back to the accents. Just a wee one.
You're too much. All right. I've only got. I have less than a minute left. I have less than a minute. All right,
So call me.
Yeah,
and
okay. So
come see what we're talking
if
about.
someone is in, I was right about to go there. If
Yes.
someone's interested in say, all right, well, I think you've piqued my interest.
Yeah.
Do they have to specifically mention?
No, because we'll explore all options.
Okay.
Yeah, because you never know which one is going to hit. Yeah, so I take people on a tour. I show them everything, and then if this is the way to go, it's the way to go.
All right. Good stuff this morning. I had no idea that this. I'm so glad we talked about this. But
there's always something happening at the Heights, right?
There you go.
Right?
That's the name of the movie, The Heights.
The Heights.
Or the TV show.
And we need a theme song too. Yeah.
Oh, we'll come up with a theme song.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. Folks, you've been listening to the latest edition of Your Next Chapter Senior Living with Siobhan Cefarelli. The Heights Senior Living Specialist. Avery Heights, by the way, is a beautiful senior living community nestled within 43 acres of nature, right in the heart of the junction between West Hartford, Newington, and Hartford. Now, those who live there, they've got access to a full continuum of care, including independent and assisted living to memory care and a whole lot more. Charming cottages with a true neighborhood feel are available to rent adjacent to the main building where those who need more assistance reside. Please visit averyheights.org or by calling 860-953-1201. Again, 860-953-1201 to learn more about their own special brand of community, unlike any other in Connecticut. For Siobhan Cefarelli, I'm Gary Byron. Thank you so much for listening. Until next weekend, have a good one, everybody. So long.